The Torah tells us that the only people who qualified to be the Meraglim, the scouts, were Nesiim. They were princes. And then the Torah goes and enumerates and identifies each one of them by name. Lamati Ephraim Hoshea ben Nun. The tribe of Ephraim, Hoshea ben Nun. And then the Torah, after it mentions all the names, it says, Eila Shmos HaNoshim Asher Shalach Moshe L'Osos Haaretz. These are the names of the men who Moshe had chosen, who had sent to scout out the land. Vayikra Moshe LeHoshea ben Nun Yoshua. And Moshe had called Hoshea ben Nun Yoshua. He added a yud to his name. So Rashi, take a look at Rashi Tezayin. Hispalel Olov Ko Yoshiacho Me'atzas Meraglim. Hashem should save you from the plottings of the spies, of the scouts. Moshe already had an inclination and saw where this was going. There's a strong possibility that this is a plot. They're going with a jaundiced eye to see this based on their own lack of faith, because the only reason why they would even suggest this is only because it's a lack of faith. See, it was mispalel that Yeshua should not be drawn in as a result of the plotting of the Meraglim. Hashem should protect you from the Atzas Meraglim. So there's a famous word from the Chofetz Chaim, explanation on this, that why did Moshe only pray for Yeshua? What about for Kalev? Of the 12 spies, Kalev was brought back positive readings, positive report. 10 were negative, 2 were positive. So why was Moshe only mispalel? Why do you only pray for Yeshua? Why not for Kalev? That's the Chofetz Chaim, which is an obvious question. Everybody has this question. Is it because he had favorites? I mean, if he didn't want this to happen, he should have prayed for all of them. Or sometimes you say, well, you know, you can't beat a dead horse. Something is so far off, it's really, the tefillah is not going to make a difference. So he prayed for Yeshua. What about Kalev? Kalev was a tzaddik. Kalev had to go himself, and he prostrated himself on the graves of the Ovos HaKadoshim to be mispalel, because he felt himself being drawn into this. Why wasn't Moshe, as he was mispalel, as he prayed for Yeshua, he should have been mispalel for Kalev? And evidently he had a good sense of who these people were. So the Chofetz Chaim explains it this way. He explains that this point he doesn't bring out so much, but this is the way I understand it, just to give me a better grasp of what the Chofetz Chaim is saying. Yeshua was the student of Moshe Rabbeinu. Gemara says in Sanhedrin that when a court convenes and you're able to make a pshara, to compromise, where both of the defendants will be agreeable to a certain decision, mitzvah lasses pshara. There's a mitzvah to work out between two, should be agreeable to a compromise, to mediate, to compromise. Moshe Rabbeinu, and who would always mediate and bring up some kind of compromise position, that was Aaron HaKohen. Mitzvah lasses pshara. Moshe Rabbeinu never made a pshara, never mediated, because Moshe Rabbeinu was of the position, Yaakov Adin Sahor, that if there's a din and there's a mountain, the din, the law, uproots the mountain. Nothing interferes with the absolute truth of Torah. The one who was innocent, the one who was guilty is guilty. He's not here to satisfy both of the defendants. The Gemara says, why is Pshara better? Quotes a posuk that David had said that Mishpat Tzedakah, you're able to give judgment, but yet it's righteousness, tzedakah, because if you mediate and both are agreeable to the compromise position, both people walk away happy. The one who is owed the money, he's being satisfied that he's receiving something, a sufficient amount, and the one who is guilty, he's not paying the full amount. So each one walks away happy. Moshe Rabbeinu, Yaakov Adin Sahor. The din pierces the mountain. So I asked, if mitzvah lasses pshar, if it's a mitzvah to mediate, why Moshe wasn't interested in doing a mitzvah? The answer is, who is Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu represents the uncompromised truth of Torah. Moshe Rabbeinu was Moshe Kibbutz Torah Sinai. Torah's absolute truth in the most absolute sense. That's what Torah is. Moshe Rabbeinu is totally negated to God. As a result of that, Moshe, being who he was, wasn't able to any degree to compromise. Even though both defenses would be agreeable, he represents the unadulterated truth of Torah. If that's the case, regardless of what the mitzvah is, Moshe Rabbeinu, in terms of what he personifies and represents, he has no relevance to compromise, to mediation. Yeshua, being the student of Moshe Rabbeinu, he had a similar approach. He is the successor. He carries on that same tradition. Yaakov Adin Sahar. The din uproots the mountain. We say Pnei Moshe Pnei Chama, Pnei Yeshua Pnei Levana. The face of Moshe was like the sun, and Yeshua was like the moon. The moon is a reflection of the sun. Every aspect of Yeshua reflected his Rebbe, Moshe Rabbeinu. Therefore, he would never even consider a compromised position to mediate. So the Chofetz Chaim explains, this is like an introduction to appreciate the Chofetz Chaim. So the Chofetz Chaim says, when the Meraglim, he understood where they were going, Yeshua openly opposed them. He did not play politician here. Not at all. What did Kalev do? Kalev, on the other hand, he played along with them, and the Meraglim themselves were not aware of where Kalev stood until finally they came back, and they came back with the Amit's reports. And there were murmurings against Moshe Rabbeinu, and it says Kalev, it says he silenced the people, and then he began speaking. When he silenced the people, what did they believe? They believed that Kalev would castigate Moshe Rabbeinu and openly condemn him for what he's trying to do to them. And when they were fully attentive, then he delivered Moshe Rabbeinu. Not only did he split the sea, not only did he go receive the Torah on behalf, not only did he atone for us by the Egel, we will go, we will conquer, and only positive. So he brought the people to an attentive state. When a person fully listens, then when you deliver truth, the truth resonates in the people. So Kalev, but the question, why did they had no indication of where Kalev stood. Kalev played this role of politician. He behaved exactly as he wanted them to believe. They believed until he was on their side. When a person outwardly plays the role of the spy, subliminally, you're affected. You're affected because you hear, you're involved in their conversation, you discuss it with them. Ultimately, you're minimized. Therefore, as a result of that, there was never a concern Moshe that they would kill him. Moshe wasn't concerned that they would kill him because he understood Kalev knows exactly how to play the ropes. Yeshua, being his Talmud, would be openly opposed to them. Being openly opposed, he was concerned they would actually kill him. When they see that he will undermine that plot, so therefore the Kosh Yeshua Hashem, not that he shouldn't be influenced by their position, but he should help from the Atzas Meraglim, that he shouldn't be a victim because of Atzas Meraglim. That's the reason why he prayed for Yeshua, and he didn't pray, he wasn't mispelled for Kalev.